Today I'd like you to open up your notebook to your table of contents and write in the title, Review Linear Equations. Then I'd like you to set up your notebook as shown. Your title should go here. Your glue-in will be right there. We're going to be doing some graphing in this section right here. And then at the very bottom, I'd like you to reserve 3 columns, 1, 2, and 3. And you're going to need 10 lines there. So I would do this section first, and whatever's left over will go here. Okay, so the first thing I'd like you to do now that you've glued in your graph is I'd like you to actually graph the line y equals negative 2/3 x plus 3. And we're going to do this one together. Starting off with a reminder that this is y equals mx plus b. And of course that's slope-intercept form. So we're going to start by identifying that the slope is negative 2/3. The y-intercept is positive 3, or the point 0, 3. This is where we're going to begin, and this is how we're going to move. We're going to begin at negative 3, negative 1, 2, negative 3. And from that point, I'll go down to, over 3. Down to, over 3. If I want to make another point, I'll go down to, over 3. And then I'll connect my points together to make a nice line. Now on the same spot, I'd like you to try to graph again, and you're going to graph on the same graph where we've already graphed our line. So I'd like you to graph y equals 1/2 x minus 3. Go ahead and take a moment and graph. Now I'd like to remind you that the slope of a line is the rise over the run or the fall over the run of the line. And right here you can see that this little car is going up. So just as a quick reminder, this isn't something you have to write down, but something I'd like you to remember is that if your line is rising left to right, then the slope is positive. And if your slope was falling left to right, then your slope would be negative. Obviously, this slope is positive. Okay, that's just a reminder. Okay, now we're in the bottom section of your notes, and we're going to start off with number 1. The directions are, write the equation of a line. Write the equation of a line. This is in number 1, the column at the very bottom. We're going to write the equation of the line that has a slope that is 2 and passes through the point. Passes through the point 0, negative 3. Now we have 3 equations at our disposal, and what I'd like you to remember is that it all depends on what information is given. So in this case we were given the slope and a point. So my first thought is to use point-slope form, but then I checked to see if they've given me the most special point of all. Have they given me the y-intercept? And I immediately noticed that the x is 0, and if the x is 0, that means that this is indeed the y-intercept. So since they've given me the slope and the y-intercept, I'm going to use slope-intercept form. That means I can insert my slope and my y-intercept. So my equation is y equals 2x minus 3. Good job. Oh. So that means my line is y equals 2x minus 3. Good job. So we'll be working in the second column of your notes. This time our given information is that the slope is 1/2. And it goes through the point -1, -2. So I'll check what the given information is. They've given me the slope and a point. I check to see if they've given me a special point. They've given me not the y-intercept, just a random point. So I know to use point slope form, which is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Now we're going to be inserting some numbers in these three parts. We'll be inserting a number for y1, that's the y component of the point, m, that's the slope, and the x1 is the x component of the point. So let's plug those in. The y1 is -2, good job. The slope is 1/2, great. And x1 is, yep, -1. So now I'm going to go ahead and simplify. I've got a double negative there, so that's y plus 2 equals 1/2 times x plus 1. Now this right here is the correct answer, but if they ask me to put this in points in slope-intercept form, then I need to evaluate this further. So I'd go y plus 2 equals, I distribute the 1/2 to get 1/2 x plus 1/2, and then I would subtract 2 from both sides to get y equals 1/2 x minus 1/2. Now, in that place, you could have also put -3/2, but this is correct as well as that. And now we're going to do our last example, example 3 in the third column. And for this example, they've said that the line goes through the points -5, -2, and 1, 3. So the first thing I'll check is my given information, and I'm checking to see if they've given me the slope, and they haven't. And since both of my formulas require the slope, my first step is to find the slope. Now if you don't remember this formula, commit it to memory. It's y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. This is how we find m, or the slope. So when I plug in my values, I'd get 3 minus -2 over 1 minus -5. So my answer would be 5 over 6. Now I've got the slope and 2 points, but I only need the slope and 1 point. So I check to see if they've given me the y-intercept. They haven't, so it doesn't matter which point I pick. And I pick 1, 3 because they're both positive. So now that I have a point and the slope, I'm going to use y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. That's point slope formula. So I'm going to be plugging in these values and this value in for y1, m, and x1 to get y minus 3 equals 5, 6 times x minus 1. When I finish this up, this right here is the correct equation, but if they ask me to write it in point slope in slope-intercept form, this is how I would do it. So I would take this equation, distribute 5, 6 to put this in slope-intercept form to get y minus 3 equals 5, 6x minus 5, 6. I would add 3 to both sides, and I would get y equals 5, 6x, and I'd have to add -5, 6 plus 3. That's -5, 6 plus 18 over 6. So that's -13 over 6. Now this is the equation in slope-intercept form, and this is the equation in point-slope form. Both are correct, just depends on what they're asking for. Please open to your classwork. Your title is Write the equation of the line in. Note I'm asking you to write it in slope-intercept form. Here are your 3 problems. Number 1, the slope is 4 and it goes through the point 1, -3. Your second problem is that the slope is -2/3 and it goes through the points 0, 1. And last, it's a line that goes through the points 6, 1, and 3, -2. Good luck.